Always be teachable. That's how you win in real life. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Toya Talks podcast. I'm Toya, oops. Thank you for joining me this week. I am absolutely exhausted. I had a really busy weekend and you all know I don't leave my house. So when I do, it does take a lot out of me. And public transport is really just... I really sometimes sit back and think, how was I waking up in the morning, often 5:30, 6 a.m, leaving the house about 7, half 7, doing the hustle and bustle of the train, getting to work, exhausted, activating the navigation of work, then having to do work under often quite... tense situations, working with people who are just mad, and still being able to deliver, perform, and then safeguarding my mental health as a individual, as a person, as a woman, as a black woman, then coming home doing the same hustle and bustle, still engaging in life, still engaging in friendships, still developing relationships, and then doing it every single day, Monday to Friday, 5 days a week. And even saying it makes me more tired. And I'm just so grateful. And I just feel so blessed. I really feel really blessed for how work and career has evolved. And how we are all being a lot more vocal using social media outlets by sharing information. TikTok is, for me, a really good source of information on certain topics. But I love the fact that, we're number one, that we're able to come to this safe space and share and talk, but also seeing certain posts, the emails that I get through the mailbox, the DMs I get through my different social media platforms, and people really using their voices to advocate for what they want, albeit negotiating a salary, being able to feel confident enough to know what you deserve and then actively go and seek it. Also, just being in a position where we say no. I have an episode called The Power of No. And being able to just say no. Not everything needs to be negotiated. It's just a no. And that be okay too. And I'm just so grateful for us also taking time to place value on what life actually means. And that we're no longer slaves to work, unless that's a choice that you've decided to make. And being a remote worker and a hybrid worker, all those things are options now because of COVID. It's a flow down from COVID. Albeit there were some roles, especially in the tech industry, that were a bit more like that. You see other industries being a lot more progressive, including public sector, which is usually stiff sector. There's certain organisations that have remained remote since COVID. And, being able to say, no, this is what I want. I got a call last week from a really big company, and I've actually worked with them before, but when I was a lot younger, and they reached out to me for a particular role within my industry. Now, I do have experience in that industry, in that particular role, but I'm not interested in that industry within my industry, like an industry within an industry. I'm not interested. And there used to be a time before I would entertain that conversation because I would think I'm keeping my options open. But I know within myself, I hate that particular industry. I can't stand it. But I would do it because I'd be like, just in case. No, I hedge my bets on myself. And I am the just in case. I'm not just going to go through a process just in case when I know for a fact that I deep down inside have no desire or passion for this particular industry. And then I'm able to say to the recruiter, because it was an in-house recruiter within the organisation, and say, what part of my CV shows you that I'd be interested in that role? And he said, well, you've got experience in it. I said, yes, I do. But my most recent experience over the last 5 years shows a different direction. So why are you calling me? And he was like, oh, we can talk about, making it remote. I said, you're not listening to me. I'm actually not interested in the role. And the conversation was over at that point. But having the confidence to be that way and to say that has come from as far as I'm concerned, knowing what I want, knowing my worth, and not being afraid to assert it, and not feeling like there is a consequence, you know, because a lot of us black women, we have, or some of us still do, operate in fear. Fear that there'll be repercussions if we say no. Fear that an opportunity won't come again because we didn't accept the first one that was offered to us. Fear that we're not good enough, so you're looking for validity in whatever. So you say yes to anything and then end up regretting your yes and then resenting what you've yes to. And I say this all to say, we have a voice. And I love the fact that a lot of us who haven't always felt confident to use our voice are amplifying our voices in so many different ways, but now centering ourselves, our mental health, and understanding the importance of work-life balance. You can make that money, have a good environment, understand how to navigate certain environments, and having roles, opportunities that suit you from a financial perspective, from a cultural perspective, so the culture of the organisation and the conditions in which you work. You know, I keep talking about this all the time because I genuinely feel like when I look back, my mental health must have been really, really, really bad to now be at a point where I refuse, like categorically refuse, to enter a conversation that isn't a remote role. And my only compromise, and I say only, but it's not only actually, my compromise is maybe once a month with a clear justification of what I'm going in. And part of me feels like it's not a bad thing to go in once a month because for my mental health, but equally I don't want to feel that level of obligation. And I love the fact that, you know, we are also seeing access to the wider world and looking at roles that are international, because a lot of those roles do pay really well, and knowing that they're not far from your grasp. And I've had so many emails and so many DMs, especially over the last 2 weeks, of people going international. I've got 4 young women who are, you know what, I call them Toy Talks queens. Like one girl called herself a Toy Talks cadet. I said, what's a cadet? I said, you are a whole Toy Talks queen, darling. And she's emigrating to Dubai for a new role. And as a contractor, I've got another one going to Dubai as well as a perm. And one other woman that is going to New York. And we, for a long time, would hear this in like siloed pockets. But there is an increasing number of people, but you know, from my perspective, women, especially black women, we're understanding that our value is not just where we are. Our value can be anywhere, international. And you know, gone are the days where you feel trapped in one location. Our parents left Africa, left the West Indies to go to another country with little to no money to start again, build a life. They had us. And if they can do it with limited knowledge and resource, what excuse do we have now that we have access to social media, which is the biggest currency there is at the moment? Think about it. So on that note, so there's a few things I wanted to talk about today actually. And it's just, okay, so the last 2 weeks have been so interesting for me because there's so much going on. I want to start off by saying, if you don't know already, i.e. you don't follow me on social media, which I don't understand because my Instagram is lit. So my personal Instagram is Toya_Washington, and I love it because the storage is 24 hours. It's easy to record. I think I have a lot more interaction on Instagram, a lot more engagement, and I feel comfortable on Instagram, and then filters be filtering. And this is my last week in my other contract. So my first contract ended in March, came to a natural end. They wanted to further extend. I was like, no, I've already been, I think I was there for like 9 months. My second contract started in November and it was due to end in May. I've spoken to you guys before about why I have made the decision to end it early, and there are literally 4 or 5 pending episodes about this current role. But this is my last week, and I don't know where time gallops to, but I'm so happy to be, I feel so confident in who I am enough to end it early and know that, number one, I know when I'm ready to go back to another role, I know that I'll be able to facilitate that. I've got enough contacts to do it. And number two, like, I'm so looking forward to just taking a career break, if I'm honest. Also a bit like, you know, like a bit, I don't know what the word is. I'm also a little bit, I don't know the word to use other than, you know, obviously I feel a bit like, you know, when your career has been your life for so long and then suddenly you're like, actually, I'm going to put you on pause. It does feel a little bit weird. But I know that I have to do it. And I'm looking forward to just taking that break. And I feel like I've been working since I was 15. And I was in the corporate world for about 3.5, 4 years. And then I have been in my industry for almost 10 years. And honestly, I'm tired. I'm tired. You know, not enough iron tablets is going to get me to a point where I'm going to feel less tired. It's mentally exhausting dealing with non-black people, specifically white people, in the workplace. I feel like because I work in a white-dominated industry, white people are quite centered in a lot of my experiences. When it comes to fellow black women, yeah, you know, I've got my experiences. When it comes to Asian women and Asian men, I have my experiences. White men, experiences. But I just feel like it's just been a lot. And bearing in mind, and a lot of people do realise this, when I come onto the Toy Talks podcast, I'm also having to work through a lot of my work trauma as I am talking, teaching and advising from my experience. And it's a lot to unpack, because bearing in mind, we are conditioned to compartmentalise our experiences. And then when we become triggered, that's when we realise that we haven't made peace with certain situations that have happened or occurred at work. Some people are in the trenches, and therefore all we're thinking about is, how do I survive? Will I still have a job? Oh my God, I'm stressed. Like, we never actually have an opportunity to just breathe. And I would like to think that, bearing in mind how work has evolved, we're now starting to centre ourselves and start understanding the importance of just taking a break. I love the fact that, like, one of my friends, she went travelling around Asia, and I just thought to myself, how amazing is that? Like, she took a month off, she just travelled, and I was like, I don't take that for granted, that she's able to know that she needs a break and she just takes that break. Because I haven't always been like that. And I think it's also harder when you're a contractor, because you're on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one, because we're making money and we're not getting paid holidays or anything like that. So we operate with a different side of our brain. And it's a lot more financially focused. But I will never forget one contractor I used to work with. His name was Michael. And he'd been a contractor at that point for about 15 years. And he said to me, he goes, listen, the beauty of enjoying being a contractor is knowing when to take a break. And I looked at him and I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because how are you going to make money? But now I'm in the thick of being a contractor, I understand it, because there's no point making all this money if you then end up not really enjoying contracting, because you're always kind of in this gerbil wheel of go, 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 go. And also, you need to also enjoy your money. Like, we don't talk about that enough. Enjoying our money. And not just from a contractor's perspective. Obviously, I'm speaking from that perspective, but I was a perm for many, many years before I became a contractor. I'm talking to people in perm roles as well. We need to learn to enjoy our money. Whatever that indulgence looks like. Is it a holiday? Is it buying jewellery? Is it being able to go to the shops and buy something you really like? Is it, you know, turning a blind eye to the fact that you've got food in the fridge and just going out to eat? You know, we have the financial literacy and understanding now to know how to position ourselves financially, that we shouldn't be afraid to also enjoy spending our money. I like designer bags. I've told you people before, I like designer bags. When I start a new contract, when I end a new contract, I buy myself a bag. I buy myself a designer bag. I really, really do. I'm now starting to like be a lot more into jewelry. So maybe that will be my next indulgence. But learning to enjoy money, because we're living in a society that in order to sometimes access certain levels of enjoyment, you have to spend money. So if you're going to make that money, and we're going to do, you know, hard graft, navigating some of these toxic spaces, if we're going to be strategically, you know, climbing up that career ladder, then the least we could do for ourselves is be enjoying the money, which is the fruits of our labor. And I'm going to really labor this point, because I feel as though after all the bills and everything are paid, we also need to give ourselves grace to enjoy. Why is it that we are more comfortable in suffering than we are in enjoyment? And then we police those who are enjoying because they're triggering in us what we fail to do for ourselves. Think about it. Right. Moving on. I'm going to also touch on this last week so far, because something happened today and I just realised not only is the devil a liar, but anyway. Beauty blogger and influencer Any Popola, affectionately known as Any Given Sunday, recently revealed that she resigned from her job at a law firm after her company discovered she was making money from TikTok through brand sponsorships. Apparently, a partner from another firm alerted her firm of her huge audience on TikTok, which caused them to question how she was able to maintain the platform. After learning that she was making money from her platform, the company notified her that she could not work at the firm and continue to close beauty deals. So I watched this video that she posted on TikTok. I think I follow her. If not, I'm definitely going to. And I wasn't surprised, because the commitment from non-black people to keep black women pigeonholed in what they are comfortable with is always been there. The difference is now is we are loud in our expression as black women, and there are black women who understand business. I keep telling everybody, you may be an employee, you may be a contractor, limited company, outside, inside R35, whatever your employment status is, you're still a business. And this woman is smart enough, knowing that she's in the law field, I think she's a lawyer, that she has transferable skills, whereby she has her professional career, and then she has an outlet where she does beauty, closes brand deals, and all this stuff on TikTok. I personally don't understand why she can't do both. But to the law firm and to many employers, the issue that they have is they don't want you to have multiple revenue streams, because they need to be able to control you through work and in turn control your finances. That's the problem. How dare you, black women, think that you could be closing private deals? And remember, they're different industries. Law and beauty, different industries. And she's been doing well. She was doing well at work. She had no issues. She was delivering, performing, doing what she needed to do. Their problem is that she was on TikTok closing deals, negotiating deals with beauty brands to put out content on TikTok to do with beauty. If that isn't an enemy of progress, I don't know what is. And I'm here to tell you, you have to have multiple revenue streams in order to have options, and options give you choices. Now, look at what's happened. She's now had to resign from her job because they forced her, obviously. And she's now got another revenue stream through the beauty deals, and she's making her money. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, you know, everyone knows, or I've been very open about my legal background, but the law stinks. And this is why I ended my training contract really early. And I knew I didn't want to be a lawyer. I'm not interested in it because it stinks. But I say this to say that most industries do. But it's when a black woman is trying to... Why is it that when black women are entrepreneurial, it's seen as a threat? I'll tell you why it's seen as a threat. Because liberation. freedom. They hate it. They want to control us so bad that even confidence, being confident at work, intimidates them, because confidence means a heightened self-esteem that they don't have. And control is at the center of what these people obsess over. It dates back to colonialism, you know. It dates back to the slave trade. It really does. The psychology behind it dates back. If you really sit back and think about it, when we're talking about control, when I think about their need to control, I think about slavery, I think about the cotton fields. I think about those things, because a lot of these people are still wanting us to remain mentally enslaved, because the freedom and liberation that we're exercising not only terrifies them, aggravates them, and angers them. I don't see any difference in having a perm role and then doing consultancy on the side. What is the fucking difference? The difference is that this woman has managed to carve out a niche for herself, make money, do what she needs to do, and have additional funds that they cannot stand. And the fact that she has been confident enough, vocal enough, and eloquent enough to share this, let it be an example to everybody. That number one, when you decide to go on social media, these are the potential things that could happen. But it shouldn't put you off. And I say this, and I'm also saying it to myself. I say it to myself because I've got so much content to put out. And whilst I'm not in that situation as this Queen Annie, I do sometimes, because I understand putting out content potentially will make certain content viral. I'm not doing what I'm doing to be viral, but I understand in order to build traction, get brand deals, to create awareness and open to a wider audience, to an extent you need to go viral. Do you understand? So I sometimes stand in my own way. I do. And I have to be honest about it. I think it comes from a space of, I really like my peace. And I'm not going to sit here with any non-black person and justify what I do outside work. I'm not doing it, you know. I don't have to fucking declare my social media. I don't have to do them things. I don't need you to feel like you can still control me after our ancestors broke free. You understand? I don't need to. All I need to do is honour my commitment to my contract, deliver. That's it. And this is why my attitude is how it is with certain employers or organisations. There's a separation, because I'm living a whole different life outside of work, and I live a whole different life at work. I literally live two separate lives, and they come together and form my brand. I'm not interested in friendships at work. I'm not interested in anything to do with work that doesn't facilitate my growth. And I've got into this space because I went into the world of work thinking it's sweetness and light, honey, fortune, growth, and I realised it's none of those things. What it is purely transactional. And the focus has to be for me, the focus has always had to be for me, is understand how to navigate safely, reach my full potential, be a subject matter expert, and make as much money as possible. That is all I'm focused on when it comes to work. I keep saying it, I've said it before, I am not in love with what I do. I'm just bloody good at it. So because I'm good at what I do in my industry, that allows me access to make as much money as possible. It's purely transactional. I don't need to go for after dinner drinks. I don't care what you did on the weekend. Don't care what you're having for dinner. Don't care what you had for breakfast. Don't give a shit about your meeting with the CEO or manager. I don't give a flying fuck. Because when I close that laptop, I still don't give a shit. Do you understand? I very much have compartmentalized work, and I think a lot of it is because trauma. And then obviously witnessing trauma of other black women, reading the trauma, because I have this platform, I really do understand that if I don't look at work as transactional, I think I would be so depressed at the lack of progression of black women in certain industries and certain workplaces, because underpinning it all is just racism. But if I see it as a transaction, I kind of look at then the issues to do with work a bit more strategic. Do you understand? And I'm like, all right, means to an end type thing. I love the fact that Annie has come out and shared this, because I think that what it shows is the need and the importance for us to continue seeing ourselves as a business and not being afraid to tap into other things that interest us and converting that into money. Because at the end of the day, money is what makes the world go round. And if you don't believe me, open that British gas bill. If you don't believe me, open that Thames water bill. If you don't believe me, open that phone bill that's telling us that they're increasing our mobile phone charges by how many percent. Open that council tax bill, babes. Money makes the world go round. So if that is the case, why don't we add sprinkles of happiness to it and start pursuing what our passions are? That's how I look at it personally. And being able to explore what those passions are. I always say to people, you know, it's important to, yes, you know, you walk in the wilderness, you're trying to figure out this whole career thing, and then you're trying to figure out other outlets that also make you happy. I'm a Libran. I'm looking for balance and peace always. So I was at the hairdresser's on Saturday morning. I love my hairdresser. She's just amazing. She does my hair wicked. She knows how I like my hair. It's a lovely environment. Black owned, black run. They're 3 sisters, and they're just amazing. They've got an amazing shop, very clean, very nice, very warm. I always go there, and I just know that not only are they going to take care of me, but I just feel like a queen. As soon as I walk in there, as soon as I leave there, I just feel, and it's, you know, I take my hair very seriously. It's about energy. Somebody's putting their hand on your crown. I take that seriously, and to be able to find a hairdresser, especially because I've moved outside London, whereas in London we've got a hairdresser in every corner. Certain parts of outside London, you're not going to get that. So being able to find a hairdresser, and I actually found this hairdresser one time. Kay and I was just on a walk exploring the area, and then I saw, you know, the bath nets at the window, because obviously they have a shop front, and I thought, let me just go in here. As I walked in, there was a whole hairdresser's at the back, and I was like, oh my god. I went in there, had a conversation, the energy was right. I was like, okay, cool. Booked an appointment, and I've been a loyal customer ever since. And something I love about the hairdressers is we all talk, you know, like the barbershop. We have hair shop conversations, and I love the fact that, you know, you go in there and you meet other women from different walks of life, and they'll give you different energy. Number one, but we have discernment. But number two, you know, I feel like there's always 1 or 2 people that are on the level, you know. So a lady walked in, an older woman, she was a bit more older than me. She had children my age, basically. And we're all sitting in the hedges, we're all talking, and just different topics, you know. And so my hairdresser's dating at the moment, and she's sharing certain things, and you know, we're cracking up and whatever. And I said, listen, you have to have a level of independence as a woman so that your choices in who you decide to settle down with, date, or whatever, is not swayed by how bulky his wallet is. And I said that, and when I talk about independence, you need to get your own. You need to establish yourself. And a man you see the man as the bonus, but if you package yourself correctly, and if you comport yourself correctly, when you meet someone, you are making more of an informed decision about whether you either want to date them, marry them, whatever the situation is. But if you have this attitude of, I need to be taken care of because I'm a woman, if you have this attitude of, I'm searching for a king, a lot of these men want to wear the crown, but heavy is the crown, huh? So the older lady, she doesn't agree with me. She says women, especially black women, she says that the hyper independence is becoming a problem. And it's become a problem because then the men don't want to settle down with hyper-independent women because they don't know what their role is. So I says, if they don't know what their role is, then they can't be calling themselves kings then. Because a king knows his role. So the pool of men that you're dating are not then going to be on the level because they're intimidated by hyper-independence. But my thing is, hyper-independence doesn't always have to be seen as a bad thing. It's seen as a bad thing because we see independence or hyper-independence in society as disobedience. And she just looked at me and she's like, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, I said, but you look at it as a bad thing because you see hyper-independence as not needing anyone. That's not what it means. Hyper-independence or just being independent means I can stand on my own 2 feet. I can create X, Y, Z. I'm able to do certain things for myself and I'm able to look after myself. That's not saying that you don't want anyone else to do it for you, but you lead with what you can do for yourself. And we were having this back and forth conversation. We were like giving examples. Everyone was talking. And I thought, this is such a beautiful conversation. I wish I had my podcast set up here. That's literally how I felt. And throughout the creation of this podcast, I've never felt like that before. I literally felt that was like, but obviously, I'm not going to switch my phone on and start recording these women because obviously we were in a safe enough space that we didn't know each other, but we felt safe enough to kind of have that conversation. And I think it was just such a, especially because we had so many different age ranges in that salon, and I was able to hear from a different generation too that look at womanhood differently, which is cool. And I gave an example of something. I said, listen, a couple of weeks ago, I was here doing my hair. I says, my husband was in the gym, yeah? And he came to the hairdressers just to see if I was okay. Because we're still new to the area, and he didn't see me that morning. He knew I was coming here, so he just come see how I'm doing, and my face just lit up when I saw him. Literally, my face lit up. Because obviously, I'm getting my hair done, I'm feeling all types of, I know that my hair's gonna land fly. So I was just like, I'm glad you're coming to see the process. So then Kay says to me, oh, I'm gonna pay for your hair. So I was like, oh no, Kay, it's fine, I've got it. It's like, no. And he hands me cash. And I said to him, Kay, honestly, it's cool. He said, no, babes, take it. I said, no problem. I took it. I said, thank you so much, God bless you. He goes, no worries. He goes, I'll see you at home. I said, no problem, bye. And he said, bye. There was a woman in the hairdressers that saw this whole thing because she was waiting to get her hair done, so she heard it. It's not like she just saw the money exchange. She saw the conversation. So as Kay left the shop, she says, oh my God, that's amazing. And she was like, wow, that's just so nice. And she's like, wow, you've got such a great man there. She was like, oh, I don't think any man would just walk into a shop and, pay for the woman's hair. And then she was going on and on and on. And I said to her, it's because your standards are low. She goes, pardon? I said, your standards are really, really low. She goes, what do you mean? I says, this is minimum that a man could or should do. It's minimum. I says, paying for your hair or paying for your nails is a minimum. It's a blessing and it's a minimum. It's a blessing because it's a kind thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. But why do we see that as, why have we now rated that as so amazing? When clearly, if we're going to start putting men on pedestals, these should be the basic things that they do. And for me personally, I don't take for granted that he's able to do that. And I don't take for granted that he wants to do that. And I see it as an act of kindness that he's showing me. But equally as well, I said he's benefiting from my hair the same way I'm benefiting from my hair. Because when I'm walking with him, he knows I'm packaging myself very well. And ultimately, everyone wants a good thing. I said, so in fact, he's just investing in what I'm working on to be able to feel great and amazing. And the woman was busting up and she was like, I never looked at it like that. I said, listen, the same way I'll go online and I'll see a pair of trainers or I'll see some shoe, jacket, whatever, and I'll buy it for him. I said, me too, I'm investing because I want him to look great as he stands or walks beside me. It doesn't make me an amazing woman. What it makes me is kind. What it makes me is nice. And what it makes me is also an investor. I'm an investor. He looks good, I feel good. I look at him looking good, I want to look good. He feels good. As he feels good, he's also remembering, my woman got me this, you know. I'm not saying that he can't get himself, but I'm also investing in the confidence and the beauty. And everybody was laughing because I feel as though we don't really have them type of conversations. We're seeing it as, oh, he's doing something, oh, amazing. It's literally like clapping for a fish for swimming. You understand? We are not being ungrateful to the beauty of what that demonstrates, but we also have to contextualize it. We are all in an ecosystem, or me and Kay are in an ecosystem of the benefit of what that is. He's investing in me, I'm investing in him also. And my fellow queens, this is how we need to operate, and this is how we have to view these things. When we start doing woo 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 woo, this is fantastic, woo, we're giving them big head for basic things that they should be doing. What we should be doing is pouring blessing, as in thank you, this, you know, because when you're doing that, you're sowing the seed for more of that. But we should also use up the other side of our brain to understand that if you're going to call yourself a king, if you're going to call yourself a king, heavy is the crown. So this hairdressers that I went to my appointment, the woman said, you know what, Toya, because she asked me my name, I told her everything. She said, how can a man be a king if he doesn't have a kingdom? I said, but this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. You're clapping for a king who has a kingdom. The kingdom has to be maintained. I said, but the problem is when we are so shocked, when we are clapping for fish for swimming, we have to remember these men are the ones that want to be kings. So they have to create the kingdom in order to reign over the kingdom to be then known as the king. And all of us were like, yes, that's it. We need to start awakening this spirit of, if you want to be a king, show us the kingdom. You can't just be a king for STK, dish room, and all this rubbish. You need to be an overall king over a kingdom. You understand? You can be a queen and be independent, be all of these things. But if a man is wanting to be recognized and respected, he must have a kingdom. You can't just be a king for king's sake. I'm so sorry. We will dethrone you. That doesn't make any sense. You need, as women, I'm going to be honest with you. As women, we need to stop allowing society to make us celebrate crumbs. Because you see, the thing is, when you start celebrating crumbs, you not only do you expect those crumbs, you're also lowering your value, because you're seeing the crumbs as something great, when in fact it's just entry-level requirements. Listen, I knew somebody, a former friend, and to be honest with you, I personally don't think she's all that. I actually don't. And I say she's not all that from a personal perspective in terms of the quality of who she is, because she attaches her quality according to a man. So already her quality is finished. She thinks she's more beautiful than what she is. Look, we love a confident babe, but let's have a realistic babe, yeah? Make sure that foundation is matching. My thing is, I can't tell you what to do. I can introduce things to you, but I'm not going to tell you what to do, because we are all what? Women. Who are who? Independent. Independent thinkers, independent choices. Anytime she meets a guy, it's not that there's always a story, but the story is always so similar. So for me, when I'm hearing these stories, the common denominator is her. And she thinks she's the prize. Now, my thing is, how can you think you're the prize if you don't even have the packaging and don't even have the understanding of the importance of being independent? You want to marry a rich man, but these times you stay in your overdraft. You want to meet someone who drives. Sis, you're driving Lexus. That's your legs. You don't even know how to put the car into neutral. You can't drive. So you're wanting all these things, yeah? Fair enough. But there's no packaging. You're not even packaged. You're in denial of the fact that you think the guys are the problem. You are the problem. You are the what? The motherfucking problem. You're the problem. I think she started to see that I was no longer interested in her stories. They were boring because they were all the same. And she didn't learn anything from them. But she started to focus herself on me. So, obviously, you know, she'd met Kay a couple of times. Kay don't pay her no mind. Because I think he could see that also as well. She's just, you know, you can have a conversation with someone. Kay will have a conversation within the first 10 minutes. He will tell me what he thinks. If I ask him. And she would say certain stories in front of him. And I know, he's obviously looking from a male perspective, but I can see the look on his face. But Kay's just so respectful, didn't say nothing, keep it to herself, whatever. And she used to try to make me feel as though I didn't deserve Kay. So she would say things like, I'm too harsh, I'm too independent, and I should let Kay, listen to the words, let Kay do certain things. So I says, what do you mean do certain things? She goes, oh, I know you probably try to pay for everything because you're so independent. I was like, no, I don't actually. She says, well, she's like, you always seem like the harder one, whereas Kay seems a bit more reserved. I says, that's not true. I said, just Kay is a king. So he knows how to carry himself. But I have a voice and I've packaged myself in such a way that Kay understands the person that he's with. He understands that I'm a career-minded, business-focused woman who is not only independent, i.e. this is how you met me, but he knows if the chips are down, I've also got us too, because stress will not kill him because I'm pursuing this whole, oh, men should do this and I'm just the meek woman, because I'm not meek. There will come a time when I may not be able to do certain things, but I trust that Kay will do them things. But right about now, I'm able-bodied and I know what I need to be doing. And she would just go quiet. And I never forget the time we went, so after my registry wedding, we went out for something to eat, arranged by my best friend, and Kay paid for everything because he knows. I mean, what do you want me to say? He knows. And when she realised that he was paying for everything, she decided to order I don't know if it's Sambuca, you know, I'm not a drinker, so I can't remember this drink, but it's shots. She ordered 12 shots. Nobody asked her to order this. Nobody on the table was drinking like that. I don't drink. She ordered 12 shots. After she drank some of those shots, she then ordered an Uber and left. And I thought, you are nothing but a low down scrub. You have no packaging. And this is why when you're dating these guys, they've got no respect for you whatsoever. None. You're looking for a meal ticket. That's what you're looking for. But not just a meal ticket. You're looking for a life ticket. But the unfortunate thing is, you ain't got no checks in your checkbook, sis. Your packaging stinks. Stinks. Even on the table, she was trying to make it about her. She even had the audacity to say to me that some of the guys on the table, because it was quite a hot day, didn't even offer her water. That one of them or two of them went to the shop to get themselves water. No one offered her. And when somebody else offered her, so someone else offered her a bottle of water, but she was shocked that some of the guys there, and the ones that she was referring to are the black guys, didn't offer her any water. My thing is, but you've got 2 legs. You've got 2 of them legs. And you're actually upset about the fact that these black men didn't even look at you, because the odour of your entitlement was strong and it stank. That's it. It's energies. Everybody, listen, even if you don't believe in energies, subconsciously you know energies. And I'm going to tell you this really clear. Those guys are kings. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not obligated to offer you any water. Who said it? Oh, because you see attached to being a gentleman. None of them are trying to be your king, honey. They don't even want you to see them as king. They're other women's king anyway. But I digress. Somebody else offered you a bottle of water, but because those black men didn't, you had an issue. It's giving main character energy when you're a supporting act, babes. And I know you're going to listen to this, because I know that you stay stalking my ass. I know it. But you're going to inject this. Because you know me, I have proof, honey. I don't just sit here just be talking. I have proof. You're low down. You are low down. I'm sorry. It's uncomfortable to watch you feel so entitled when you're packaging. You don't even have any packaging. You just arrive free of packaging. You know, like when you order up from Amazon Prime, it just has the box. No packaging, nothing. Everything, boom. That's this girl. No packaging. Just an outer shell. No substance, nothing. When she talks, she just talk shit. But you expect... Listen, for a man to see you as part of his kingdom, you have to have some type of substance. If you want to be a stay-at-home wife, there's no problem with being a stay-at-home... Listen, stay-at-home wives, they work hard. But you're not packaged, babes. You're not packaged well. Because you're standing there at the bus stop waiting for that 149. You're waiting for that man to come past. But you're not giving him a reason to stop. Your attitude stinks. All the things you're expecting in a man, you don't even have in yourself. Basic level entry things you can't do. Can't hold down a job. Listen, the reason she can't hold down a man is because she thinks that when she walks into a room, the man should just give him the bank card because she's God's gift. You ain't anybody's gift, honey, unless you package yourself as the gift you want to receive. And that's on period. I actually don't give a shit who that offends, because it's the fucking truth. When Kay met me, listen, I was not the full package. I need people to understand. I still am not the full package. I am flawed and I am limited. But when he met me, if we're going to talk about finances, I didn't have the financial literacy I have now. But I had the financial potential to open my mind up to the literacy that I would need to be able to be the woman I am today. Number one. Number two, I am very highly educated. Very highly educated. Bearing in mind, my parents came over here from Nigeria with nothing. I'm very highly educated. I have life experience. Yeah? I've got life experience. And then if we're going to start talking about careers, I started my career PwC, Goldman Sachs. I did that. My parents did what they could, and then I had to do the rest. I left home at 21. I was living by myself, paying bills, and I had another revenue stream. Those who know me, like, from back in the day, we all know African entertainment TV presenter. I was doing all of that. No man was putting me on. I was independently pursuing the development of self and not even realising that's what I was doing at the time. And even when I was dating, I still was able to package myself in such a way that if I have to pay for my meal, I can. But because the way I package myself, and also as well, I just don't go on dates with anybody. Yeah, you have to go through sifting criteria. These times when you're applying for jobs, they don't just invite you for interview. You have to go through shortlisting, isn't it? And it's the same with dates. And yeah, sometimes I did get it wrong, but I always learn from where I got it wrong. If you want to do 50-50, cool. Do I want to do 50-50 with you? Depends. It's not always a bad thing. But I don't lead with that. I would lead with that. But just because a guy wants to go 50-50, it's not always a bad thing. Because also as well, I don't want to feel obligated to you for a second date. Sometimes I would deliberately go 50-50 so that if I don't want to go on a second date, you can't say shit to me. And if I don't go 50-50 and you pay, I still don't have to go on that date with you. However, I get to make that choice. But I'm not in that position trying to make those choices, knowing I've got £1.52 in my account. This girl would be on social security, you call it in America, on benefits, going on dates with these guys, knowing that she wasn't even in the financial position to pay for them dates. But then she will put lip gloss on them and do false packaging, and then wonder why these guys will leave her in them restaurants, or wonder why she will leave these guys' houses with her stuff in the house. And when she leaves, they'll bring another girl in, and then she'll go back, and the guy will pretend he's not in the house. Yeah, you heard me. Listen, I personally, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it on this podcast, yeah? If you are not in the financial position to date, don't date, please. It's not just about men. I've said this to men too, but I'm saying it's to women. It's the truth. If you're not, don't. I remember when I was on benefits, I had no business dating no one, you know? I was on benefits. So if I know that, why then would I not think the same for men? If a man is on benefits, listen, you should not be dating. You shouldn't. Dating is expensive. Yeah? And I'm not saying you're undateable because you're on benefits. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to give yourself time to also package yourself. And sometimes it means getting things together so that you're able to come as yourself and be present and correct when you are dating. That's exactly what I'm saying. And don't get it twisted. I remember when I was on benefits, I went on 2 dates. And they were the most intense dates I've ever been on because I couldn't afford to pay and I was at their mercy. So when that bill came, I'm not going to lie to you, every orifice of my body was sweating because I thought, if this person doesn't pay, I'm fucked. I have no overdraft. My benefits don't get paid till Tuesday. I'm fucked. And I was lucky that and I say lucky, and it was luck that they paid. Do you know why it was lucky? Because I wasn't even in a position to even pay for myself. So it was lucky. It was careless and it was ridiculous. But because I had this complex of, oh, he's a man and I'm here to eat and he needs to pay for me. I had that attitude. But that humbled me a lot because I realised that attitude could get me arrested if he walked out of here or only paid for himself. It'll get me arrested. Or I'll be humiliated. And I do not catch shame. I don't like it. Twice this happened to me because I didn't learn the lesson the first time. Second time, And then I realised, no. I don't have any business dating because I've got nothing to offer either. It's not just what men can offer. It's also women and their packaging. I had nothing to offer because my life was a shambles. I was up to my eyeballs in debt, couldn't pay my bills, on benefits, couldn't get a job. I mean, why would you add a man to that mix? I don't understand. Why would you add a woman to that mix? I don't understand. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really glad it happened because it enabled me to realise that until I sorted myself out, I couldn't even see the potential in someone else anyway. Do you know what I mean? And now fast forward, how many years, and now, one is, even before K, one looks at self-development and all these things, and I feel like because I was then, got myself back on my feet, started to do certain things, and you go to work, you meet people, different spaces and stuff like that, you feel even confident in yourself to then start dating and being open to those things because you feel like, okay, I'm in a space where I can, do you understand? I've also said that I know a lot of my hyper independence comes from the fact I left home early, all of that. But it also comes from me appreciating freedom And fellow queens, fellow sisters, fellow black women, I'm telling you right now, packaging is so important. It really, really is. If you don't package yourself well, and when I say package, I'm talking about everything. And I'm not saying you package yourself for a man. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, you package yourself for yourself. You package yourself for yourself. You don't need to be at the mercy of what a man wants. What you need to do is stand in your independence. And then when you meet somebody, be confident enough to know that you have choices and options. And also independent enough whereby you and I both know that if you don't want to go on a second date, you don't have to feel... do you understand? You've got things together. How many times are you going to go to STK, Dish Room, Mr. Chow, what's the other one again? Salt Bay. What's that one? I can't even remember again where he throws the salt. And you're going to sit there waiting for the man to pay the bill because you think you're the prize, when in fact your packaging is wrong and then he's paying 50%. So what we're saying? What are we actually saying? Are you not bored of the same result over and over and over and over again? You want a man to be rich, you ain't rich. You want a man to drive, you ain't done your driving lessons. You want a man to have his own house, you don't have your own house. You want a man to be senior in a job, you're not senior in a job. You want from him or her what you don't have, but you think you deserve it, but you can't say why. I don't understand. I personally don't get it. I agree in having aspirations, but delusion is just another thing, huh? And I'm not sitting here saying that women who aren't those things don't meet guys who are. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am kind of drumming in and making very clear is that some women are false packages. And when you false package yourself and you get the same results, you are the common denominator. And then on top of all of that, you're giving crowns to guys who you, and I'm saying, obviously I'm from a heterosexual perspective here. You're giving crowns to guys and then you're crowning them kings, but they don't have a kingdom of their own. So they don't even have their independence and their package done. Your packaging is just based on the fact they've got beards, they're tall, or when they're wearing top and bottom, they're looking nice, or they wear nice shoe. You're associating their packaging based on how many zeros are in their account, but you're not actually really getting to the root of who this man is, what makes him tick. You're not looking at his financial literacy. Some of you are not actually having conversations that need to be had to even be able to call them kings and start talking about this husband material. If he doesn't have financial literacy, how is he going to be a king of a kingdom? How is he going to fund that kingdom, babes? But you're just associating money with the fact that he's a man. You don't know if he's done the work. You don't know what his relationship is with money. You don't understand where he is in his career. All you see is that he needs to take care of you because you are too lazy to take care of your fucking self. When you then get to a point of marriage, you see, if you don't package and do the foundational work beforehand, you're going to find marriage difficult, because I've told you guys before, marriage is about love and business, period. So if you don't package yourself correctly, if you're not doing the work beforehand, how are you going to do love and business? How are you going to do that? I'm telling you now, I'm taking a career break. My savings are patterned. Yeah? My savings, my investment portfolio, everything is patterned. But I'm going to tell you now, because I've done the work, done the package, done all of this stuff before I got married, I know for a fact that if I needed anything from Kay, I can get that. Yeah? He knows I can stand on my own 2 feet. He knows. But because of love and business, we're also business partners. There's going to come a time when he earns more than me, or I earn more than him, or we earn the same. But the focus can't be just about money. it has to also be about investment, sustaining, breaking that generational curse, sustaining wealth. You have to understand that when you're marrying, you want to marry correctly. So unless you're willing to do the work beforehand, your marriage is not even going to work. It's not. We know the percentage of marriages that don't work because of finances. But if you really go and dig deep, they were having them issues before they got married, but they were papering over the cracks. Because we were giving crowns to kings that didn't even have their own kingdom. Some of these people that you're calling kings need to be dethroned, because some of you have a really warped understanding of what king is. And I'm talking to us as queens. We need to higher the standard of what we expect from kings needs to be higher. But what we as queens need to be doing needs to be on par. So that when you're meeting these people, you have freedom of choice to even decide if you want. Do you understand? You can't put your hopes and expectations on a man if you can't put your hopes and expectations on yourself. Unless you can put hope and expectation on yourself, how can you put it on a man? How? I personally, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. I was called, is it last year or the year before? Someone DM'd me and called me a gold digger. And I'm not going to lie to you, that was probably one of the funniest messages I've ever received. Funniest. Because this woman thought so low of herself. She's projecting that onto me, not knowing what I'm sitting on. Because she sees it as, well, in order for me to have A, B, and C, it has to come from K. I know already that her packaging isn't great. Her packaging isn't great because she's looking at me, but she ain't seeing me. She's not understanding that in order for me to be with someone like Kay, not only have I had to have my own and package myself, but also as well, you don't understand that I'm not willing to compromise myself just to get married. And you don't know what I've brought to the table to facilitate Kay being a king and having gold to dig. You don't know if part of the reason he has that gold to dig is because he's digging in my garden, babes. You don't know if I was the missing puzzle to what he needed to understand and unlock his potential to be having gold. You don't know all these things. Your assumption is, in order for me to have what I have, it has to come from a man. It could never come from me. I'm telling you right now, yeah? Every designer bag I have, I proudly sit here and tell you I paid for myself. Because I made a promise to myself that when I would be able to afford a designer bag, I would get the pleasure from being able to buy it myself. I refuse to allow Kay to buy any of my designer bags. Because it's a personal thing to me. It represents the young girl in me who would watch people with these beautiful designer bags and I'd be unable to afford them. And I made a promise that one day I'm going to get those designer bags. And that may sound like nothing to you, but the 16-year-old me is screaming right now looking at my life at the most basic things that I didn't have at the time. A designer bag ain't shit. But do you know something? It's what I indulge in. If I want anything, I can get it myself. Yeah? I love the fact that, you know, okay, we'll go and get jewellery for me or get perfume. He's amazing. But I think part of the reason why he does those things is because he also knows I could do them for myself. Do you understand? I also believe in letting a man be a man, 100%. But in order to let a man be a man, in order for him to know what to do for you or how to treat you, he has to observe what you do for yourself and how you treat yourself, you know. Packaging. It's like saying, how can I expect a man to love me if I don't love myself? He's got to see me loving myself to know the type of love I want, I need, and I want. I need, and I should have. Are we understanding what I'm saying here? Because I feel as black women, we society is not very nice to us. Never really been nice to us. Never really. But when it comes to things of the heart, when it comes to romance, when it comes to all those things, as women, we also have to be responsible for the happiness we create ourselves. Because if you're looking for happiness in a man, you haven't even started to understand self yet. I personally can't find happiness in any man unless I find happiness within myself. Bearing in mind, I was raised by a narcissistic mother who basically made me feel and told me that I weren't shit and I wouldn't be shit. So I had to do the work on knowing I am the shit. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't look for that in a man, because that means that it would be yet again another person that gets to be in control of what makes me happy, who I am, and my identity. When my identity comes from me, it's me, who I, Toya, am, who you are, not from a person. I'm still doing the work to be a better person. I am a flawed individual. But I look back and know that there's been progression. For me. Not for anyone else, not for any man, but for me. Because I know if I develop and I'm a better person, if I learn, if I grow, the person who is going to benefit from that is me first. And then my life partner second. I understand that, yeah, there's a lot of things within myself that are flawed and need to be improved. But I have to first choose to do it for myself. Kay and I recently went to STK. Because I've never been there before, and they do the best calamari. Oh my God, I'm definitely going there again. Definitely. I love their calamari is buff. And ordered my food. The woman said, "Oh, lovely lady." We gave her a tip. She was so nice. And she said, "Oh, this is a sharing plate. You can share it with him." I said, "No, I want my own one." She started laughing. Anyway, the bill came. And I paid. And you know what the woman said to me? She goes, "I love that." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I love that you can do that and not feel nothing." I said, "Yes, because all the many meals before, he paid." You see, in a marriage, you can do 50-50 if that's what you want. There's no problem with that. However you choose to work your finances. But there was a joy I felt in knowing that I could pay for that meal. Especially because I wanted to go. And I know that Kay was like, oh, you know. But he understands that part of being an independent woman isn't eroding his ability to be a king. It also reinforces that I don't always have to rely on you, Kay. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Because when I rely on you, or if I need to, I know I can. But sometimes what makes me feel confident as a woman is being able to know that I can do too. And I know it's different for different people, but remember how we started this. The foundation that was laid and the packaging that was laid, he knew what he was getting. The difference is now is I know within myself that letting him be a man is not just going to be about finances. It's going to be about respect. It's going to be about life decisions. It's going to be about, you know, aligning ourselves to be able to create and develop certain things that would make our life better. But when you start wrapping up identity in just finances, I think you haven't even started, personally. That's how I view it. But I equally know, because we've both done the work when it comes to finances, financial literacy, respecting money, understanding our different relationship with money because of our parents. Because you've done the work, I'm more comfortable in number one, having those conversations, but number two, not wrapping up our identity as a couple with money. So you see me on my social media, I call myself a gold digger all the time. Because since this woman wanted to label me one, let me own it. But when I call myself a gold digger, which gold am I digging? Is it my own or is it my husband's? You understand? Mind the business that serves you, darling. And start creating the well of gold that you can dig for yourself. Then when you meet somebody, then you have two pots of wells that you can dig and you'll be digging each other's gold. Listen, I hope that helps. I really hope that helps, you know. I don't know what has prompted me to do this episode today, because I knew I wanted to talk about this, but I know that, I don't know, it was weird. I feel like the hairdressers was my ancestors saying, yeah, Toya, talk about this. So here I am, talk about it. And I really hope it just builds conversation and creates conversation in your WhatsApp groups. Because I feel like a lot of us are exhausted. And then we're like, I want to tap out. I need to meet someone who's going to... It's just, no. It doesn't work like that. And this is why I say, before we even start thinking about certain things, we also need to create healthy life choices so we can start enjoying life. You understand? So that when you meet somebody, it's even bigger enjoyment. You understand? Right. So I got a work-related email. I'm on 1% battery and I'm asking my phone to respect me. So let's get to it. And she's called this dilemma business opportunity, maybe for Toya's consultancy services. Right, I don't do consultancy service for one-to-one individuals. I only do business to business. It's a paid service. But when I read this, I think it is more for the podcast, to be fair. Hi, hello, beautiful Toya. I hope you're doing well. I would like to kindly ask your advice on recent development in my career. I happen to seek coaching in a new field of work I'm interested in, as I have a bit of experience in this field. I reached out to an international company which happens to be based in the UK. During the call with their executive coach concerning their career coaching program, somewhere at the end of the call, she told me she had a look at my LinkedIn profile, and following our conversation, she asked if I would be interested to work for their company. She said she can't guarantee that there are available positions, as this is an informal suggestion, but for confidential reasons, she can't give me much more information on opportunities in their company. But she ended our conversation suggesting I do a bit of research on the company and send her a proposal with services I believe I can offer for a potential internship or a job offer, or a role they can create depending on my proposal and professional profile. So the options here is an internship, a job, or creating a role for you. Amazing. My question is, this offer came out of nowhere, as I was seeking their services and not the other way round. Well, it didn't come out of nowhere. When you see yourself as a business, it allows people to see you as that too. And also, you have to also remember, when we're operating in our greatness, people see it written on our forehead how great we are, even if we don't see it ourselves. I am now interested in exploring this open offer, but I would like to position myself for a job and not an internship. I agree. Because internships are not always paid either, so, you know. And also, you have experience, so it's not... I agree with you. It should be a job offer, or they create a job for you. But I would like a position to be... Yeah. Also, I have never done an open or spontaneous proposal without seeing a job offer, contract, or tender. The only proposals I have done are in French and Dutch, as I'm... she told me where she's from. And I know the terms and regulations here. For your information, I have had small collaborations in the past with coaching companies and initiatives in... And she'd give me the countries. And I do have a coaching certification. These informations are on my LinkedIn profile. That's what probably prompted her. If this is a situation you have come across or dealt with, could you please advise me on how to build an open or spontaneous proposal and position myself in line with the standards for the UK employment and business market? I've purchased a CV, interview and negotiation masterclass. Fantastic. If there are other tools or classes you would like to suggest from your academy, I'm happy to check them out. Also, if this is more a question that requires one-to-one consultancy, please let me know the rate and offer. Okay, so she would have engaged me through her business. Okay, perfect, fine. So I can see if it's in my budget, as I know you usually do B2B. Okay, perfect. Thank you for your time and consideration. Many thanks for your amazing work you do. You are a blessing. Okay, so first and foremost, now I understand that you have a business. So effectively, yeah, I could have done it as a consultancy for you, but I don't think you need my consultancy, to be honest. And I say this because I think you're overthinking this. You're overthinking this proposal. You don't need to know UK legislation. It's got nothing to do with a proposal. In this situation, she's asking you to sell yourself, i.e. sell the services you could offer them that will benefit them. So you need to research this company, as she said, because what she's effectively saying is, find the gap and tell me how you could fill the gap, how you could add value, how you can progress in terms of help us progress, and how you, and what the long-term strategy you would use if we were to engage your services. That is what she's asking you. You just have to do, that's a one-pager, a page and a half max proposal. That's it. She's literally giving you the tools. She's asking you to use them. You don't need to know UK legislation. Listen, the only time UK legislation comes into place is when they offer you a contract and let's talk. Then you can engage my services. That will be more beneficial to you. Right now, you need to look at where the gaps lie in that business, and then you need to look at their competitor. So when you're giving them a proposal, the case study you use is their competitor. If you want to make real money, that's how you do it. And I think you should position it as a job and also the creation of a job. But I think you're better off going with them creating a job for you, and I'll tell you why. Because if you take the angle of them creating a job for you, what else gets created? The money. You won't have a benchmark, would you? So you're going to be able to negotiate the money or the rate or the whatever they will give you from a stronger position. Whereas if it's a job that maybe already exists or similar, or they're able to compare it to something, then whilst you will be able to negotiate it, but there's a backdrop for them, or there is a what's the word? There is a, I can't think of the word now, but there is an opportunity for them to have something to compare. Do you understand? Whereas if they create a role for you, what always also gets created is the money. And then you're in a better position to negotiate because, number one, you know that they've accepted your proposal. Number two, you know they want you. And number three, you know that once they've opened the door for negotiation, the sky's the limit to an extent. I think that you need to focus on the certification or whatever it is in your LinkedIn profile that would have given rise to her having that conversation. Because you have to position this as you're the subject matter expert. That's how you got to do it. And I think you've also got to be able to leverage your experience and leverage it in such a way that they recognise that the gap needs to be filled and you are the best person for the job because you're there. You need to be able to use the proposal to not just sell your services, but to position yourself in a way that they need you and they can't progress without you. You don't need the legislation, babes. Employment legislation, you don't. The only thing I think maybe, but you leave it to them to consider how to do, is how they would engage your services. Are we talking perm? Is it through your business? You know those type of things, but I can help you with that. If it's from a contractor perspective, I'm assuming it's outside IR35 through your limited company rather than inside IR35, which you need to use an umbrella company. But given the fact that you're not in the country and stuff like that, it'll be through your limited company anyway if it's a contract and for services. But when you get to that bridge, that's when I think you can engage my consultancy to help you. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's when you can, because then I can go help you, and because I'm not going to go do the contract for you, I can help you do it. Because if I help you do it, then you'll be able to do it over and over again. Whereas if I do it for you, I kind of feel like if this is a space that you're trying to get into, you need to acquire the skills so that you're able to do it yourself. I could do the contract for you, that's fine. But I'm all about giving you the skills to be able to do it yourself. If I got knocked over by a bus, I want to know that you've got the skills. You're not solely dependent on one person. I'm a single point of failure. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I think. And I think that this is an amazing opportunity for you. And I think this reinforces you seeing yourself, not just as a business, but knowing that there's other people that are looking at you, seeing what maybe you didn't realise, or reinforcing things that you didn't realise, and also placing you in a situation where you're able to have a revenue stream in another aspect of your career, an additional aspect of your career. And I think this is fantastic. I think you should be really proud of yourself, because I always say, if you're able to have a meeting with someone or whatever situation you're in, and they start talking about creating roles for you, I think that's an amazing position to be in, because number one, they see your value. Number two, they see your potential. And number three, there's a gap that they know within their organisation that needs to be filled, and they can imagine you filling that gap. You just now have to take it to the finish line. So Queen, I'm so proud of you. Well done. Do not overthink this. You use the word spontaneous. I don't use the word spontaneous in this instance. I use the word ordained by the ancestors. When we start using words like spontaneous, it's like it's just happened out of the blue, and it's not out of the blue. This was always meant to happen. Because when something is out of the blue, we start thinking it's out of control, and it's not. It's within your control, it's within your ability, and it's within your field. You have control over this now. You follow up with an email to this woman. Thank you so much, as agreed, I will prepare a proposal, and you be forthright. I'll prepare a proposal to cover XYZ with the view of a job or the creation of a new job. So you're basically telling her internship is out of the question without actually saying it. You have to lead this discussion. You need to be the queen, the leader of this. She's giving you the ingredients. Make the cake. She's giving you the ingredients. Switch the oven on. Do you hear? Winner, 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 winner. We black women are winners. I know you missed this song. Winner, 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 winner. What? We black women are winners. We need to start seeing ourselves as winners, because society didn't even tell us we could win. Can you hear this Queen's dilemma? This one isn't even dilemma. This one is testimony. This one is testimony. And please, we need follow up. We need follow up. Oh. Hello? We need to follow up. Because this is so inspiring. This is so inspiring that we are walking into rooms with one objective and coming out with many, many, many blessings. We're going into rooms with one objective and coming out with proposals and business plans. And you can't sit here and tell me that we as black women aren't winners, shouldn't be winners, and are not winning. We are. We need to start opening our eyes. As my mum and my dad, especially my dad, used to say, God bless his soul, shine your eyes. Shine them. Shine, 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 shine your eyes. Clean your ears out. Listen. God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth, because he said there's more listening to do than the talking to do. The ancestors say, what? I will create a path for you to walk in your light. Make the decision to walk. The ancestors are literally switching on the lights and asking you to walk in the path of your greatness. There's no spontaneity in that. Just testimony, Queen. So please, come back to us and testify for the ancestors so that we can re-inspire, or so we can inspire, or so we can learn and grow. Because not only are we queens, honey, our crowns sit firmly on our heads. And we are what? Packaging ourselves. Some queens need repackaging. Some of us are packaging. Some of us are packaged. But we need to start having these conversations, having these WhatsApp conversations, creating these spaces, being able to learn and grow so that we can all enjoy the fruits of success. Because I'm so tired of seeing queens laboring and aging at the same time. Why can't we labor and be looking younger and younger? We need to. Summer's coming. The sun is out. We need to live life. Life is so short. Life is so, so short. I refuse to wrap my happiness in other people than to create the happiness for myself. I refuse. I want to create the happiness for myself. I want to dictate the type of life I want to live. And part of that is going to come from my choices. Part of that is going to come through how I learn and develop. And part of that is going to come through how I see myself. If I see myself as a queen, I package myself as a queen, I move like a queen, I will attract queen things. That's how I move. Listen, I also want to thank all the people who have access to the platform, who are new to the Toy Talks family, who have come through TikTok, because I had a semi-viral moment on TikTok. And it's just sharing like work-related stuff, but doing it in sound bites. And I just was shocked. I'm always shocked. Listen, everything's shocking. But you know why I'm shocked? Because I didn't grow up with social media. So what tends to shock me is how far and wide the reach is. But I know I'm walking in my purpose. I'm not shocked from that perspective. It's more about the power that social media wields that I'm still getting used to. Now, I'm going to continue to do TikToks. I've got loads, and I've made a commitment to myself. I must go in them drafts and post them TikToks. I got to do it. I got to what? Do it. I have to finish off the freelancer contractor consultancy masterclass, which I'm so excited. I am so excited to release that masterclass. I don't even think you know how much, because I'm so passionate about contracting. And the freedom I feel from contracting, honestly, I need to share it, because we need to all at least consider the possibility. And also, those of us who are contractors, there's some stuff that we're still learning. I learn stuff every day. So to be able to create a masterclass and add it to the catalogue I feel is a blessing. I need to finish that off. And now, I've even got new hair, so I'm going to be even looking fresh in the masterclass videos. Yeah, because part of the packaging is also showing you what the contractor lifestyle is doing me. Listen, you know my contractor friends, I've noticed the way they dress. They're wearing them Zara blazers. Bruv, some of my contractor friends, yeah, nobody needs to tell you that they're contractor, the way they're moving. My perm friends that are climbing up the career ladder, no one needs to tell you, because even them weren't there. They're moving in a certain way. Gaji. Yeah, they're moving. Success is sweet, but it's even sweeter when all of us are actually educated enough, informed enough. And when I say education, it's not just education in the classroom, it's education for experience enough to actually lean into our purpose and watch people do it, enjoying the fruits of that labor. It's very sweet. Anyway, if you want to follow me on social media, my personal Instagram page is Toya_Washington. The Toya Talks podcast Instagram page is Toya_Talks. I'm on Snapchat as well. It's Toya Washington, all one word. And of course, TikTok. My TikTok handle is Toya Washington. And if you have a work-related dilemma, a life-related dilemma, or just a dilemma that you think that we'll be able to share anonymously here and I'd be able to advise you, please email hello@toytalks.com. Also as well, I know there's some people that have emailed the mailbox who have previously bought masterclasses to access the new platform. I apologise, there has been a delay on my side, because I need to go through the master documents to make sure that these people did actually buy from the previous platform, because we had a situation where somebody done something underhand. Obviously, I caught it. If I catch it, and now the scrutiny is a bit higher. You know, giving people access who had previously purchased. It's just unfortunate. So hopefully this week you will be receiving an email through my assistants to give you access to the new platform, because you've previously purchased. Thank you for your patience. I do apologize. Also as well, if you don't know already, I know some of you do, but if we're going to add to our greatness, then the Toy Talks masterclasses on the toytalks.com website that actually support the podcast in terms of information, CV interview, resignation, redundancy, mother and daughter masterclass. Got a couple of other masterclasses on there as well, so go ahead and check that out on the toytalks.com website. I will see you all in 2 weeks. It's every 2 weeks, right? By the grace of God and the grace of the ancestors, for a brand new episode of the Toy Talks podcast. I want to thank you so much for your love, for your support. I hope that you've enjoyed the podcast. Share it. I will see you all again. Make sure you have a blessed week, and make sure you look after yourselves and each other. My name is Toya Washington, and you have been listening to the Toy Talks podcast.